Is Manic Pixie Dream Girl autism the better autism? It's complicated, but no. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope is a stock character type found in film, television, or novels, known as the quirky, unusual girl who swoops in to spice up the life of the dull male protagonist. Think Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, or Zooey Deschanel in basically any project she's in ever.
She's doing sexy stuff to the plant, right? Oh, okay. I'll pick that up later.
The origins of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl term come from Nathan Rabin's 2007 review of the film Elizabethtown, in references to characters like Kristen Dunst in the film, who are described as women who exist solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures.
With you, I kind of miss myself the way I used to be.
What were you like?
I was happy at a time.
The term wasn't originally used to describe any sort of neurodivergence, but rather just a stock trope of characters.
You know this one girl with hair like this?
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
It wasn't until relatively recently that people familiar with neurodivergency began to point out that many of these women tend to exhibit diagnostic criteria for disorders such as borderline personality disorder.
In order to receive a diagnosis for BPD, a person has to have at least 5 of the following 9 tendencies.
I don't have 5, I have 9.
Or autism spectrum disorder, leading the autism community in particular to reclaim the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl autism as a phrase in order to describe a more palatable version of autism than is seen as desirable for the neurotypical population. But is it better to lean into the Manic Pixie Dream Girl autism rather than to challenge it? No, of course not. Let's not forget that the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl was never meant to compliment the female character. It was meant to criticize the filmmaker's views on women and their persona. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope inherently trivializes the mental health of the female character in question, as it doesn't service the plot of the male protagonist, especially in films like Fight Club.
I fall asleep. I'm done for. You're gonna have to keep me up all night.
The Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope says that as long as your mental health or disabilities are done through the lens of being attractive and they don't disrupt the lives of men around you, your issues don't matter.
You'll never remember this. I love you.
And yes, the idea of Manic Pixie Dream Girl is always about being in service to men.
Why doesn't he love me?
That's not me sounding like an angry feminist, though yes, I often do. And I love it. I live to piss off men whose masculinity is fragile enough to be threatened by the most mid of criticism. Dance, my puppets, dance! The whole idea of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl was meant to be a criticism of how these filmmakers don't view women as whole human beings.
Love, 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 love. I make a noise or I do something that no one has ever done before, and then I can feel unique again, even if it's only for like a second.
So if you think, I don't know, that maybe it's somehow better to encourage people to lean into the trope because it's economically better.
Why economically it's better to have people perceive you as a Manic Pixie Dream Girl rather than the Autistic Girl?
It just kind of feels like encouraging women to dismiss and minimize their disability because society hates said disability, which, you know, doesn't sound at all like encouraging internalized misogyny or internalized ableism. Not at all. Sarcasm, by the way. And listen, just speaking from personal experience as someone who spent years watching these Manic Pixie Dream Girls, relating to them, and then trying so hard to lean into that in myself so I could have a more curated and palatable version of me to present to the public, it's exhausting. It will break you down. It's just another aspect of performing for neurotypical society, or rather, autism masking, which we already know from studies leads to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and burnout amongst autistic people. And you, as an autistic person, do not deserve that. No one does. And if you want to reclaim the Manic Pixie Dream Girl autism trope, that's fine. You do you, boo-boo. If that's how you want to identify yourself, that's your choice. But when you do, you need to ask yourself where that desire is coming from. Are you actually trying to reclaim a stereotype and lean into accepting your more quirky side, or are you trying to perform for a society you feel will never accept you for how you truly are? Encouraging the Manic Pixie Dream Girl perception of autism is not reclaiming it, and it is undeniably harmful to autistic people. It's not a fight against ableism, it's a surrender to it. It's embracing a trope that only applies if you are white, have lower support needs, and fit conventional beauty standards. So where does that leave those who don't have those privileges? Manic Pixie Dream Girl autism isn't better or more economically beneficial than other autism. It's just autism.